wanted to show you, yesterday we had some winds that were up to 13 miles per hour, really quick, whipping around our very mature avocado trees, which have branches that aren't very hard.
The ones that are on the ground are pretty.
So it whipped a lot of our avocados right off of the tree. We haven't picked them yet because they're kind of still a little bit on the small side. We're used to them being almost a third bigger or more, and up to twice as big sometimes. And so here we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 that fell off the tree, including the branch itself. And so we're gonna let these ripen, because as you know, avocados do not ripen on the tree, so they ripen off the tree. So we'll let them ripen up, and we'll make guac or various desserts out of them, or just eat them straight up, or include them in different foods. And here I have a light colored variety I started cutting open when I decided I was going to talk about it. This is a sweeter variety of pomegranate. I'm not sure the name, but the outside is lighter, and inside the fruit, the jewels, are lighter, and the seeds are not as hard, so they're easier to eat, and it's a sweeter variety. So, and then as opposed to the normal variety here, it's quite red. This one's, I can feel it, the skin is very thin, and it's ready to be eaten as well. Hi everyone, I made custard today, and it looks really delicious. So I just steam it in the same pan that I made my Asian meatloaf in. And these are fresh eggs from my chickens, so they're organic and there's nothing foreign in there. Some milk, sugar, vanilla extract, and I like to add coconut cream, and it makes it really delicious. And it's so smooth, and I just steam it in this water bath, and it just takes about 15 minutes or so on a low heat, and there you have it, something really good. If you're interested in the recipe, let me know in the comments. Hi everyone, I wanted to show you that this is a Vietnamese banana cake, and what it is a banana leaf, and inside is banana that's wrapped in rice and coconut flakes, and sometimes with some kind of a little bit of mung bean, and it's steamed, and it's delicious, and you just use a banana leaf to wrap it in when you steam it, so it comes out really fragrant with the smell of the banana leaf, and it holds it together, and it keeps it from being a soft gooey mess from the rice, the sweet rice. And I hope someday to do that with my canna lily leaves, because those are edible, but I'm not eating the leaves. I'm going to be using it to wrap and steam things with, or using it underneath fish and other things to steam with, to hold the dish together. So now I've peeled it and I've tossed it. So like I said, this is a large variety of taro, and they have small varieties are about the size of like average potatoes, and they have like a hairy outside, and it's a root vegetable. It grows underground, and it tastes starchy, kind of like a potato, but it has a different different texture to it a little bit. And in Asian culture, it can be used like in curries and in all sorts of dishes, in Hawaiian dishes as well. And so in this case, it's application. I mean, you could even steam it or boil it and eat it like a potato, but in this application we're using it as a dessert. So I've already peeled it, and then I slice them in cross sections, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it like into little cubes. So like that, there, and then I'm going to cut it this way, and I'll show you in a second. So here are the pieces. I've cut it, it was 2 layers of cross section, and then I just cut it down, and then I cut it the other way, so it's in little cubes and about 3/4 inch. And I'm going to do that with the rest of this tower of taro. Then I'm going to boil it in some water, just a small amount of water in the pot, about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of water, and then I'll have soaked the tapioca and rinsed it, and then I'll add that to the taro that's been boiled for about 8 minutes or so. So here are all the taro all cut up. Here is the taro soaking in water, and then I'm going to kind of rinse it out in a little bit. And here is a pot of about 2 inches of water that is going to be boiling, and then I'll throw the taro in. So now it's really bubbling. I've already added the tapioca in there. I've drained the tapioca, added the tapioca in there, stirred it, added 3/4 cup of sugar, and then I added a little bit of a squirt or two of the vanilla extract to give it some aroma, and a pinch of salt, and it's boiling really well. I also added 1 can of coconut milk. If you have coconut cream, you could use that. It was about 13.5 ounce can. You can use more or less depending on how liquidy you want it. It'll get a little bit thicker as it sits and as it cools. And keep stirring the bottom, or else it will burn the bottom. All that starch and all that tapioca will stick to the bottom, so you gotta stir it really, really well, and then turn it off. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of like a pudding consistency or broth consistency, but it's so it can be eaten as a dessert or sometimes for breakfast. It's good if you don't make it too sweet. And so I did add another 1/4 cup of sugar because it tasted really bland. You could add your sweetener of choice, stevia, agave, honey. So choose what you prefer and enjoy it. So this is Serenity Garden in October, mid-October. And today I'm going to collect all my lemongrass and harvest them and process them. And here at Serenity Garden there are many, many plants, and I planted the lemongrass as a understory plant, kind of nearly a ground cover, to just keep weeds from growing. So over here I have on this property I probably have 10 or more lemongrass clumps. So here's one, there's another right next to it, another, that's 3. Way back there there's a 4th one. Excuse me. And let's see, a 5th one right there. Let's see where else. a couple in some pots, and then a sixth one there, and then a few in the front of the property. So I'm gonna harvest them because they're getting quite big, as you can see, and I'll collect the tops to chop and drop, or I can use them in teas. So some of them I'll use in teas, but most of all you want the base of it. It's in the grass family, and where you get the aroma and flavor is from the bottom stem that is close to the ground. And you get the young pieces, so you peel off a few layers that are dirty because they're close to the ground, rinse them out real good, and then you process them by slicing them in cross sections and then sticking it into a food processor and processing it down, so you don't have to do all the work of chopping it, because in the old days it would be so much work just to chop it down. So I'm gonna do that. I have here my trusty basins and my knife, and I'm just gonna cut the bottom of the lemongrass without cutting the root. You can pull out the whole stem, but it has divided so much. I might pull out some of the stems and leave the inside ones, or I might just leave the stems and the roots and just cut it just above the root, because I know that in the winter they die off because they're cold sensitive. So in order to help it survive and keep the roots warm, I might have to leave the roots and just cut it up from above the roots. So there, I've partially processed, just pulled the lemongrass out of the ground. So as you can see, I've cut the bottoms, and some of them I accidentally pulled out near the root. So if you see something like this, like just as when you get it from the grocery store, you could plug that into the ground or in a pot, and you can grow yourself some new lemongrass. As you can see right here, this tiny little nub right there is where it grows new leaves, and it'll grow more lemongrass and spread out in its clump. And I cut off most of the leafy parts. I'll save some of that. So let's have a look. That is where I had cut the lemongrass, and they're just little stumps, a cluster there, and it's gonna grow right back. It just rained, so it watered it for me. So as you can see, you could even add some soil, but it's pretty much in there, and it's starting to grow back, as you can see right there, there. So it starts growing right back. So one down, 9 more to go.